Hi everyone, David Mark here, Product Specialist for 800 Tech. This is Beyond Technology. I'm about to speak with you a little bit today on a topic that I was given that is very dear and close to me. So it's using ICT to help the community we live in advance, supporting schools and the benefits, advantage, and the advantages achieved. I think the best way to do this really is to give you an experience, and the experience will be how technology, well, how I myself assisted my second daughter's school during the prime of the COVID situation and the online learning, as it was a difficulty for most, as we all know. Right, so no better place to start than the beginning, and the beginning would have been, I guess, at the point where schools were closed, all schools were closed, and they implemented the online learning. And I guess they gave teachers and schools in general approximately about, say, 2 to 3 weeks to get everything in order. So personally, we had to contact the school PTA about the way forward. PTA advised us that teachers would contact us. We collected all our information, names and so on, and students' names and so on, and related to the teacher. My daughter's teacher, Ms. Mohammed, admittedly by her, she is not the most technically versed person, but she is a very good teacher, and that is true. She is a very good teacher. And she said she's willing to learn and work with us. So initially, a WhatsApp group was set up with varying parents from the same standard. And of course, as it goes with WhatsApp groups, there's personalities, and that was the issue. Now, push back a little bit. My daughters, due to my profession and my love, which is technology, I of course would influence my daughter to go towards that. To go towards that. I mean, she's not a programmer by any stretch of the imagination, no, but she is able to manage a tablet, phone, and her laptop, even my laptop and her mother's. She even helps out her mother sometimes. So she is well poised in the technology. So I know she wasn't going to have any issues going forward with the transition, because she does her own YouTube thing, actually, her own YouTube thing with her dollies and stuff. Very funny. And adorable as well. So I wasn't too concerned about that, but I needed to know where the rest of the community, say, the classes, and when I say community, I'm talking about parents involved as well, where they were. Because, IT is my thing. I spot issues. That's something we do at 800 Tech Action. That's something that I'm very good at, where I spot where things are needed. So it's in the WhatsApp group. I started just listening at first, listening to the issues that people were having, which were, of course, as I said, not everybody was versed in the technology, and I'm getting to realize this. And so I had to listen, and I interjected here and there where I could, where people were having issues. They would have just throw out a solution, and they would try it and it would work. And as the days passed, people began messaging me privately to ask certain questions and so on and so on. So I guess that's one of the benefits and the advantages, where the older folks, some may be older than me or my age, they were getting a better appreciation for technology, whereas it would just be something they would use for work. They were starting to appreciate how it can affect their lives and better their lives, because a lot of them were saying that they didn't know that the phone could do this, they didn't know the laptop they could do this. Some simple use every day as a calendar, the online calendar, the electronic calendar on your phone, equipped with every phone. They were amazed at what they could do with that in terms of organization, and even to some level, basic project management and managing things at home. So that was a plus right there. That's an advantage right there, and other things I picked up. Anyway, as it goes, Ms. Mahabia, the daughter's teacher, she messaged me privately, and and she said, you're into IT and stuff. I was like, well, yeah, that's what I do. And she was like, well, she really, she was kind of hemming and hawing and talking and just going back and forth. And I said, Miss Marby, would like some assistance? She was like, yes, thank God, yes, yes. I guess she didn't know how to ask. I don't know why, but so began sorting out, got a little insight into what they were doing and in terms of what platform they're going to use. And she says it's going to be a mix of Google Classroom and Zoom and so on. And I give her, and they were having a lot. And another thing too, which she introduced me to the principal, was that there were some companies, IT professional companies out there, that were basically trying to sell them platforms, which were everyday platforms that were generally free. And so had me speak with the principal and advise them on which way to go, because of course, these are government assisted schools, so the funds aren't really there for that kind of expenditure, especially for the infrastructure, right? So I have guided a course for them, and when I say a course, not school course, a course for the IT infrastructure, balancing it with what teachers had, Miss Marbia had, and other teachers had at their disposal, or what they were capable of accessing, as well as the parents. So there had to be a, what I'm saying, there had to be a balance in terms of what all parents have at their disposal, what the teachers have at their disposal, and how they could come to some midpoint. And that was achieved through technology and data gathering. So another thing, teachers began to see an appreciation for technology in the school, and not just with lessons alone. School in general, with day-to-day procedures and management, and it's some simple as, rather than a whole rule book using an Excel sheet, that it may to the IT people out there and people and the techies out there, it may seem as really wow, but you have to remember the culture we're in, and appreciate it. And again, that's another thing. I got an appreciation for the culture, because being in IT most of my life, and every day now, anything that is not able to appear to me on a screen, or on an analytical platform, or in a tabulative structure, I tend to look at it as analog, as a rotary dial phone, basically. And I got a better understanding of where we are in the country in these industries, and what is required to really get them to make the move forward. What is needed, the language to speak to them in. And I can't be like, oh my God, you're so backward. I need to come off that and understand what is really happening. And I got an inside view on that. So that's an advantage from that aspect. From that. But anyway, as we go on, things started to progress, and what happened, of course, teachers are a network. So Miss began to introduce me to other schools, and other schools where their budget introduced me to other teachers from other schools, other principals from both private and government assisted schools. Some which, as I said before, who had bigger budgets, I guess, and were able to actually put in ICT infrastructure that my daughter's school couldn't, and assisted with that. I got so many guys in the business to assist me, some friends, whether it be from pulling cables to setting up, to securing their IT, setting up their storage facility for their coursework and so on. Eliminating, getting more ebooks so that they could send to students. There was even a private school not too far from me, where most of the teachers, rather than do the work from school, they would come from home. They would come to the school itself and do their work and record and do their live classrooms from an actual classroom. So I had to set up their laptops that they got, and set it up and network it, and everybody from a central database and so on and so on. And again, that benefit right there, where the schools saw the benefit of ICT and technology and how it could benefit them. And they were amazed. I mean, some folks who were against it from the jump and from years ago, they just didn't want it because they firmly believe that in-face classroom, in-face teaching is the best. Now, funny enough, even the Minister of Education alluded to that too, and it's statistically, I guess I had to go back and check it. Statistically speaking, that is in class teaching is the best form of conveying information and the education to students. But what they saw was how technology could make it a bit easier and more relatable, especially this generation of kids who literally born with a tablet in their hand, more or less, you know? And I could actually elaborate on that, where being born with a tablet in your hand and they know how to use it. But another benefit and advantage that I saw in it too, where, and other parents too, where I actually had to tell them that these kids know about this technology, maybe better than we do, you know, because they're born into it. It came while we were here already, you know. So they're now learning, adults are learning. These kids know it, but what they appreciated is, and what I'm telling them, and they see for them, they got a first-hand view of it, is that you knowing about it and being more appreciative of it and not fearing it and understand it, you could properly manage it and monitor it, and that is what is needed with these kids. Just telling them don't use it at all, or put it on and banning them from using it, that won't make any sense, because that's the way it's going, that's the way the future going. All schools are going to from sometime return to in-class teaching, but they are going to accompany it with technology because they have seen it for the past couple of months, about a year now, right? We're doing this, yeah. They have seen, teachers and administrators have seen, so betting bottom dollar, they are going that direction. They are going to bring technology. So parents, we need to get on board, because we are the ones that are going to have to manage and monitor it. Technology is a beautiful thing. ICT is a beautiful thing. Digitization is a beautiful thing, but it needs to be managed and monitored, especially when it is in the hands of kids. You know? So we need to do that. And that's where we need to go. And the parents were appreciative and understood it. And that gap was bridged, essentially. That it was bridged where adults, parents were a bit fearful of the technology, and I saw it, not saw it, but I mean, read it in the WhatsApp chats, and it was always a pet peeve of mine where folks my age and a little older would appreciate of it, because we all come from a time where, I say we all, well, I guess everybody would be, most of us come from a time where we had a project in school and we had to go through thick encyclopedias this big to get information, because technology in terms of the internet and that wasn't ready at our disposal. Unless, of course, I guess you probably went to school abroad or whatever, or you're born into somewhere else. Most of us had to go through these thick encyclopedias. And we did it because a lot of us have our degrees and so on, and we did it. And we think, and I got them, and that's all I got. That's basically, that was my pitch really to the teachers and to the parents, to get them involved in that, where I said, Charlie, remember what you had to do to get information for stuff. Imagine you had this literally at your fingertips, Think of the time save. And that was my sales pitch, and they went into it, and that was a benefit, and I got that pet peeve of mine out of the way, where the gap was bridged, and I was fulfilling, you know. Apart, that's another thing too. It was the part of actually doing the work where, and like I was telling somebody the other day, where initially it started out from a selfish standpoint, and I say selfish because, like I said, that's why I went into detail of my daughter, where she was knowledgeable on it and was more accepting of it. And my thing was, she's in a classroom of how many other students? if I could get them up to scratch or appreciate the technology and using it, then her chances of being successful at school will be better. It started off like that. It started off as a selfish thing. I was making sure, seeking that when daughter's interest in school, that she get the best. And it turned out that it benefited me in such a way where I felt good about actually helping out, where I got introduced to other schools and I got to use my skills to help out. I mean, it was for free, basically. I was doing this for free. And it was like, it was a good feeling. It was a good feeling to actually do something and give back and get an understanding of what's going on out there, as I said before, in the industry, and how, as ICT professionals, where we could get in there and on the whole digitization of the industry, get that paper out and put in the process rules and so on to make things more efficient. The way to get to it, just bombarding people with numbers not going to help. They need to see how it actually works. They need to see where and how it could affect them meaningfully. And I think that is the key, and that is the biggest achievement and the biggest benefit out of this whole exercise. They got a chance to see it work. And so I can only see good things going forward. Only good things going forward. And that's my story basically of what transpired. Hope this was beneficial to everybody out there, and stay tuned. We're going to have more of Beyond Tech Talks from 800 Tech. Do check us out on LinkedIn, on Instagram as well, Facebook. Basically, all the platforms, and there's the YouTube channel. Check out 800 Tech YouTube channel and the Beyond Tech Talks too as well. So, everybody enjoy the rest and stay safe.